In the red corner, hailing from Ohio, weighing in at 27 pounds, 0 ounces, we have the SB1000. In the blue corner, also from Ohio, weighing in at 46 pounds, 0 ounces, we have the PB1000. What's going on, everybody? This is Cody, the home theater hobbyist. And yeah, I just had to do that intro. I could not resist. But in this video, I'm going to be comparing the SB1000 to the PB1000. I'm going to talk about the similarities, differences, give you some audio samples, and also make my recommendations of which one I think you should purchase based on your listening habits, whether it be movies or music. And I'm just going to talk about them in general as well. So let's get to it. The SB1000 is a 12-inch front-firing sealed subwoofer, which means it does not have a port. It's powered by a Sledge STA300D Class D amplifier that outputs 300 watts of continuous power and 720 watts of peak power. It has a frequency range from 24 Hz to 260 Hz. The SB1000 comes in 3 different surface finishes, the first of which is black ash at $4.99, or you can choose gloss black or gloss white, both of which cost $5.99. The PB1000 is a 10-inch front-firing ported subwoofer. The front-firing port is 3.5 inches in diameter. It is powered by the Sledge STA300D Class D amplifier that outputs 300 watts of continuous power and 720 watts of peak power. Its frequency range is 19 Hz to 270 Hz. The PB1000 comes in one surface finish, which is black ash, and costs $4.99. So now that you've heard the specifications between these two subwoofers, you know there are a lot of similarities and differences. Now, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details of each one of these subwoofers because I have done full reviews on those, and you can check those out using those links above. But I will say, if you want to purchase the PB1000, the SB1000, or anything else from SVS, use those links in the description below. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. But let me go ahead and make a couple of recommendations right up front. First being, if you want the smallest subwoofer you can get between these two, obviously you have to go for the SB1000. It's about 5 inches shorter and about 5 inches less deep than the PB1000, so it's nice and compact. So if you're living in a small space or just don't want a big sub, you definitely got to go SB1000. Another recommendation I should make is, if you want one of the gloss versions, either gloss white or gloss black like I have here, you have to pick the SB1000 because SVS does not sell the PB1000 in either one of the gloss colors. Only thing you can get is this black ash, which I have here. Now let's talk about some design similarities and differences. First and foremost, you can obviously see that the PB1000 is larger than the SB1000 because you have the port. But they both come with these nice cloth grills up front, and they cover the entire front face with that SVS logo down there at the bottom. Now to pull the grill off, you just give either one of them a nice little tug and it comes off. It's actually held in with this pin and cup design right here, so you can push the pins in or pull them out and it comes off really easy. Both of the grills are nice and snug, and they are nice and sturdy as well. But once you pull them off, you can see that you have that nice SVS logo on the driver up front, and there's also SVS logos on the rubber surrounds of each one of the drivers. They both have the LED status light up top in this top left hand corner, and that allows you to know the status: red if the subwoofer is off and blue if the subwoofer is on. Now that light is bright enough so you can see it when the grill is on the subwoofer as well. Now the major differences here are, you've got the 12-inch driver up front here and a 10-inch driver there, along with the port on the bottom of the ported box subwoofer versus the sealed box subwoofer right here. Now let's talk rear design, and I have to say they're the same. Obviously the PB1000 has more surface area because it's a larger cabinet, but they have the exact same amplifier. So you get the same layout of controls, the same connections, the same knob feel on all the controls, even the same power cable. They're the same. So now let's talk design, and I have to just say it, the SB1000 wins the design category in my mind. I like the PB1000, but the SB1000 is nice and compact. It comes in 3 different colors, whereas the PB1000 comes in the single black ash. I will also say that I like the way the SB1000 looks because it has smaller, what I'll call bezels on them. And what I mean is the surround around the driver there is much smaller as compared to the PB1000. Now, whenever you look at ported subwoofers, you're going to have much larger bezels, quote unquote, around the subwoofer because you need more internal bracing, and it's just a different design since you have the port there. So it's not a knock on the PB1000, but when compared to the SB1000, it's just slimmer, looks newer, more modern. It kind of reminds me of the flat panel televisions that we got in the early 2000s with those big wide, plastic bezels or whatever around the screen where they house the electronics. And now you go, to TVs that you buy now, and they've got nice little thin bezels, and you get more screen for the same shape. And that's kind of how this feels. So from a design standpoint, the SB1000 wins. So now let's talk features and controls. Well, it's a tie, obviously. I mean, you have the same features and the same controls between the two subwoofers. I mean, the PB1000 has a port, but it's a ported box, so they're the same. Okay, so now let's talk value. And obviously that is a complete tie. They're both $4.99 if you get the black ash version, or you can spend an extra $100 and get one of the gloss versions of the SB1000, but you get the same warranties, you get all the same customer service guarantees that SVS offers, so it's a complete tie for value. Now let's talk sound quality. To test the sound quality of these two subwoofers, I placed them in the optimal position in my room. Then I level matched them to around 78 dB because that's kind of where I like it. I watch movies and I listen to music to figure out what the differences were between the two of them and also to understand exactly how they sound. But before I give you my impressions, I'm going to play a couple of audio samples so you can hear them for yourself. Now that you've heard those audio samples, you probably have a pretty good idea of which one you prefer. But let me tell you my impressions after spending some time with both of these subwoofers. First and foremost, they're made by the same company with the same amplifier design, which means that they have a lot of similarities, but also some differences because they are, different subwoofers tuned slightly differently. First and foremost, they have nice balanced bass. And what I mean by that is neither one of them has a great bottom end and no top end, or great top end and no bottom end. It's nice and balanced. They also both give you nice, good detailed bass, which some subwoofers don't do. Well, these both do great detailed bass. And what that means between the balance and the detail is that you can play both movies and music with both of these and have an enjoyable experience. Now, one thing I did notice with the SB1000 compared to the PB1000 is you get a cleaner, tighter bass sound with the SB1000 as compared to the PB1000. And I believe that's mainly due to the fact that you have a sealed box versus a ported box, and so there is zero port noise because there's no port on the sealed box, and so you get a cleaner sound. I also noticed when listening to music that has rapidly transitioning bass notes that the SB1000 plays those transitions just a little bit faster. I mean, a hair faster than the PB1000. Now, if you're not listening for it, you'll almost miss it. But I do believe that the SB1000 transitions a little bit faster note to note, especially when the notes change, than the PB1000. Moving on to the PB1000, it plays deeper than the SB1000. It'll play a nice audible 20 Hz tone, whereas the SB1000 doesn't play quite as audible or quite as loudly at 20 Hz as the PB1000. And what this means is that you can feel the bass a bit more when watching movies with the PB1000 versus the SB1000. Now, another thing about the SB1000 is I think it has a little bit of a tune in that 40 to, let's say, 60 or 70 hertz regime, because when listening to music, I found that it has a little bit smoother sound right around there as compared to the PB1000, and that led me to enjoy music a little bit more with the SB1000 as compared to the PB1000. Okay, so now let's wrap this up with my final recommendations. If you are looking for the smallest 1000 series subwoofer from SVS, then you gotta go SB1000. If you want a gloss surface finish on your 1000 series subwoofer, you gotta go SB1000. If you enjoy watching movies and occasionally you listen to music, I'd go PB1000. If you enjoy listening to music and occasionally watch movies, I'd go SB1000. And if you are one of those crazy people who does both of those things at exactly 50%, 50% movies and 50% music, you just gotta buy both. That's just the way it works. So, hey, that's how it goes. No, I'm just kidding. It'll be up to you to decide which one you really want. If it were me, I'd go PB1000, mainly because I'm a home theater guy, so I'm going to lean towards that depth and things like that. But it's really, really your choice. So hopefully you can make that decision. Now, the good news about both of these subwoofers is they do both very, very well. It's just they're tuned slightly different, so they are a little bit better for one versus the other, but they will do both. And so I'm happy that SVS gives us a choice, but also gives us a nice blend. Now, if you want to purchase the PB1000, the SB1000, or anything else from SVS, use those links in the description below because they do help support the channel so we can do more reviews and comparisons like the one that you see here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. We'll talk to you next time.